Every dream begins with a thought, a spark in the field of infinite possibility. But before that thought can take shape in reality, it must pass through the filter of your beliefs, emotions, and subconscious patterns. Most people never realize that the invisible barrier between them and their dreams isn't the world outside, it's the world within. We've been taught to think small, to stay realistic, to lower our expectations so we don't get disappointed. That's the first illusion of limitation. The idea that dreaming big is risky, while staying small is safe. But in truth, living small is the slowest form of dying. Every day, millions of people wake up, follow the same routines, feel the same emotions, and think the same thoughts. Science shows that 95% of who we are by the age of 30 is a set of memorized behaviors, emotional responses, and beliefs, automatic programs stored deep within the subconscious mind. These programs are not bad. They were designed to keep you safe. But what once kept you safe can now keep you stuck. When your mind lives in the past, your body becomes addicted to familiar emotions, stress, worry, guilt, unworthiness, and even when your conscious mind says, "I want to dream bigger," your body whispers, "This doesn't feel safe." That's why change feels hard. You're not fighting the dream, you're fighting the program. You're battling the emotional comfort zone that convinces you to stay in familiar pain rather than step into unknown possibility. The human brain doesn't distinguish between emotional and physical threat. To your nervous system, uncertainty feels like danger, so you keep replaying the same patterns, reacting to the same triggers, not recreating the same life, calling it destiny when it's really just conditioning. Imagine this. Every thought you think produces a chemical reaction in the brain, sending signals to the body that make you feel exactly how you're thinking. When you think "I'm not enough," your body releases stress hormones that reinforce that belief. Then you feel small, and your mind finds evidence to prove it. That's how the loop continues. Thought creates emotion, emotion reinforces thought, and the pattern becomes your personality. Over time, your personal reality mirrors your personality. You're not living your dreams because you're living your memories. The first step toward dreaming big isn't setting a goal. It's breaking the illusion that your thoughts are facts. Thoughts are just electrical impulses. Emotions are chemical records of the past. Together, they shape how you perceive yourself and the world. When you start to observe your thoughts without judgment, you break the trance of limitation. You begin to realize that you are not your mind. You are the awareness behind it. And in that awareness lies freedom. The freedom to choose a new thought, a new emotion, a new possibility. But awareness alone isn't enough. The body must follow the mind. Most people try to change their lives with affirmations or vision boards, but deep down, their body is still living in the past. The body remembers trauma, fear, rejection. It stores emotional memory like data in a computer. And when you try to imagine a bigger dream, those memories rise up, saying, "You can't do that. It never worked before. You're not ready." It's not the truth. That's the program protecting itself. So how do you break it? You bring the subconscious into the light of consciousness. You start paying attention to the emotional habits that define your day. When you feel doubt, notice it without judgment. When you feel fear, breathe into it and remind yourself that emotion is just energy in motion. The moment you observe it without reacting, you're no longer trapped by it. You've stepped out of the program and into awareness. That's the beginning of true transformation. Dreaming big requires a new identity, not one built on what has been, but on what could be. You must become greater than your environment, greater than your circumstances, greater than the emotions that have defined you. You must teach your body what it feels like to live in the energy of your future before it happens. That's when you begin to condition your nervous system for possibility instead of survival. Think about it. Every great achiever, every visionary, every person who transformed their life didn't just dream big. They thought differently. They felt differently. They acted differently. They stopped letting the outer world dictate their inner state and started letting their inner vision shape the outer world. When you break the habit of being your past self, the walls of limitation start to dissolve. You stop being a victim of your history and start becoming the architect of your destiny. Your dreams don't require you to be more. They require you to be less attached to old beliefs, less loyal to old pain, less dependent on what's familiar. Because the moment you stop identifying with the program, you reclaim your creative power. You realize that limitation was never real. It was a learned pattern, a mental construct. A story that lost its meaning the moment you stopped believing in it. Every dream carries an energetic code, an emotional frequency that connects you to the reality you wish to create. Most people think their dreams will come true once the conditions are right, once they have more time, more money, or more support. But the truth is the opposite. Life doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you are emotionally aligned with. Your emotions are the language of the subconscious mind. Your subconscious doesn't respond to your wishes. It responds to your vibration. The energy you live in every day becomes your signal to the universe. And that signal either attracts or repels the experiences that match it. When you imagine your dream life, notice what you feel. For many people, when they think of success, they also feel doubt. When they visualize abundance, they feel unworthy. When they see themselves healed or loved, they feel fear that it won't last. These mixed emotions send conflicting signals into the field of possibility. You can't ask for expansion while broadcasting contraction. The mind may dream of freedom, but the body addicted to familiar emotions of lack, stress, and insecurity keeps pulling you back into what it knows. To dream big, you must teach your body the emotions of your future before it arrives. Every emotion you experience is a chemical event. When you feel gratitude, love, inspiration, or joy, your brain releases chemicals that communicate with every cell of your body, creating harmony and coherence. When you feel stress, anger, or fear, your body floods with survival hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, narrowing your focus to the problem instead of the possibility. That's why you can't create a big dream from a small emotional state. When you live in survival mode, your energy is spent on managing the past instead of creating the future. The emotional signature of your future is the feeling you would have if your dream had already happened. If your goal is freedom, how would that feel right now? If your dream is love, what would it feel like to already be loved? The body doesn't know the difference between an emotion created by experience and one created by imagination. When you can feel your future before it happens, you begin to program your nervous system for it. The brain starts firing new neural pathways that match your vision, and your subconscious begins to believe it's already real. Think of your emotions as magnets. The energy you emit is constantly drawing to you events, people, and opportunities that resonate with that frequency. If you wake up every morning and feel gratitude for what you already have, you send a signal that says, "I already live in abundance." The universe responds by matching that signal with more reasons to feel abundant. If you wake up in resentment or fear, the signal says, "I live in lack," and you unconsciously attract experiences that reinforce that state. The key is to become emotionally consistent with your future, not your past. But it's not just about positive thinking, it's about emotional embodiment. You can't fake energy. You can say all the right affirmations, but if underneath those words you still feel fear or doubt, your body is sending a stronger signal than your mind. The subconscious is emotional, not logical. It doesn't respond to words. It responds to feelings. That's why meditation, visualization, and mindful awareness are so powerful. They give you a space to disconnect from old emotions and rehearse new ones. When you close your eyes and visualize your dream, don't just see it, feel it. Feel the joy of having it. Feel the peace of living it. Feel the gratitude of already being there. The more real that emotion feels, the stronger your electromagnetic field becomes. The heart, when filled with elevated emotion, emits a powerful frequency that can influence reality itself. You are not just daydreaming. You are broadcasting a new signature into the quantum field, signaling the universe to bring you experiences that match that feeling. Most people wait for something outside of them to change before they feel better, waiting for success to feel proud, waiting for love to feel worthy, waiting for healing to feel whole. But creation works the other way around. You must feel it first to attract it. The emotion is the cause, and the experience is the effect. When you start to live as if your dream is already true, your energy shifts from lack to abundance, from waiting to creating. This is how you become the vibrational match to your dream. The more you practice the emotional signature of your desired future, the more natural it becomes. Your subconscious begins to reprogram itself, replacing old survival-based emotions with new, elevated states. Your thoughts become clearer. Your body feels lig. There comes a moment on every dreamer's journey when thinking is no longer enough. You can study every book, repeat every affirmation, and visualize your dream for hours. But if your energy doesn't change, your life won't either. Thinking is the first step. It awakens awareness. But transformation happens when you move beyond thought and into being. The shift from thinking to being is the moment your mind, body, and energy become one coherent field, all vibrating in the same frequency as your future. That's when your dream begins to materialize, not because you're chasing it, but because you've become it. Most people live their entire lives trapped in the loop of overthinking. They analyze, they doubt, they predict, they compare, all from the energy of the past. The body is wired to repeat what feels familiar, even when that familiarity no longer serves them. So even as they think new thoughts, their emotions still belong to the old version of themselves. This is why change feels so hard. The mind can imagine something different, but the body still clings to its old emotional memories. The only way out is to teach the body what the future feels like so it can begin to believe it's safe to change. The human body is a miraculous instrument. It listens more to what you feel than to what you say. Every emotion you experience tells your body who you are. When you live in emotions like fear, guilt, or frustration, you're signaling your body to stay in survival mode. Your heart rate increases, your attention narrows, your energy contracts, and your brain chemistry becomes addicted to predictability. You stop creating and start reacting. The moment you shift that emotional energy, when you begin to feel love, gratitude, inspiration, or empowerment, your brain waves change. Your heart enters coherence, and your body begins to synchronize with the energy of your vision. You are no longer living as a record of the past. You are living as a map of the future. The transition from thinking to being is not a mental process. It's a state of coherence. It's when your thoughts and emotions are no longer at war. Most people think one thing and feel another. They think abundance, but feel lack. They think health, but feel fear. They think love, but feel loneliness. This inner conflict sends mixed messages to the universe. The energy field around you reflects exactly what you embody, not what you wish for. When your thoughts and feelings align, when your mind and heart vibrate as one, your energy becomes powerful enough to influence matter itself. This is where the dream starts to crystallize. You begin to act, not from effort, but from alignment. Inspiration replaces willpower. Intuition replaces confusion. You stop trying to control outcomes and start trusting the unfolding of your energy. You realize that being is more powerful than doing because the state of being determines the quality of your actions. When your energy is coherent, even small steps create big shifts. Opportunities appear. People are drawn to your frequency. You become magnetic, not because you're lucky, but because you've changed your vibration. To enter this state, you must let go of time. Time exists only for the mind that measures, compares, and waits. The future dream you're seeking already exists in the timeless field of potential, waiting for you to match its energy. When you focus on when or how, you step out of creation and back into control. But when you surrender, when you feel as if it's already done, you collapse the distance between now and later. The future begins to flow toward you because your energy says, I am ready. This isn't fantasy, it's physics. Every atom in your body is energy vibrating at a certain frequency. Every thought you think and every emotion you feel emits a signal into the quantum field, the invisible space where all potential realities exist. When your frequency matches the energy of your dream, that dream is drawn to you through resonance. You don't force it. You become it. The outer world is simply rearranging itself to mirror the new energy you embody. Most people want to create a new reality while staying emotionally connected to the old one. They say they want success, but live in the vibration of fear. They say they want love, but live in the vibration of doubt. They say they want freedom, but live in the vibration of control. This is why nothing changes. The universe doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you are being. The shift happens the moment you begin to feel the emotions of your dream consistently, regardless of external conditions. That's when the signal becomes strong, clear, and unwavering. You can measure this change in your life. When you've made the shift from thinking to being, you'll notice time moves differently. You'll feel lighter, more peaceful, more creative. You'll wake up excited for no logical reason. You'll trust the unknown because your energy is already familiar with it. The future no longer feels far away because you've merged with it energetically. You start living from the inside out, letting your inner frequency guide your external experience. This is the moment when dreams stop being something you visualize and start being something you embody. It's the moment when your body feels like the future and your mind trusts what it feels. The more you practice this alignment, the more you anchor the energy of your dream into physical reality. You're no longer chasing transformation. You're transmitting it. You're no longer surviving. You're creating. The dream stops being a destination and becomes the natural expression of who you are. Manifestation is not a matter of chance. It's a matter of alignment. It's the point where the inner transformation becomes visible in the outer world. The moment when the energy you've been cultivating starts to condense into form. The big dream doesn't suddenly appear because you've worked harder or wished longer. It appears because you have become the version of yourself who naturally lives in that reality. You no longer chase it because you are no longer separate from it. The field of energy that once existed as potential begins to take physical shape through the vibration you consistently sustain. When people think of manifestation, they often imagine it as attracting something outside of them: a house, a career, a relationship, success, freedom. But manifestation is never about getting. It's about becoming. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. The external world rearranges itself to reflect the internal energy you hold. That's why you can only manifest something new by feeling as though it already exists. The dream responds to your state of being, not your state of wanting. Wanting implies lack. Being implies completion. The moment you feel whole, fulfilled, and grateful without needing proof. The universe mirrors that frequency back to you in tangible form. Every dream you hold exists in a field of infinite possibilities. A field where time doesn't flow in a straight line but expands in all directions at once. When you imagine your dream and feel the emotion of already having it, you're tuning into that possibility and drawing it into your experience. It's like tuning a radio to the frequency of the song you want to hear. The station was always there. You just had to align your signal. Your thoughts are electrical. Your emotions are magnetic. And together they broadcast a frequency that interacts with the invisible field of creation. The stronger and clearer your signal, the faster your dream begins to find its way to you. Manifestation is not magic. It's science meeting spirit. Every emotion carries a measurable vibration. Gratitude, love, joy, and peace are high frequencies, states that expand your energy field and create coherence between your heart and brain. When you maintain these emotions, your electromagnetic field becomes more powerful and organized, broadcasting a clear message to the universe. In that coherence, synchronicities begin to unfold: random opportunities, sudden encounters, ideas, and events that align perfectly with your dream. They're not coincidences. They're reflections of your new state of being. The challenge for most people is consistency. They meditate, visualize, or affirm their dream for a few days. But the moment reality doesn't shift immediately, they fall back into frustration, doubt, and fear. Those emotions send a different signal, one of disconnection and disbelief. The universe reads that frequency as, "I don't have it," and reflects that back. Manifestation requires persistence and energy, not effort and action. The more you can hold the feeling of your future in the midst of your current circumstances, the faster reality begins to reorganize itself to match your vibration. This is where faith transforms from belief into knowing. Faith is not hoping that your dream will happen someday. It's knowing it already exists and aligning your energy with it now. When you can close your eyes and feel the joy of living your dream so deeply that your body begins to believe it's true? You collapse the distance between imagination and manifestation. Your body's chemical and neurological responses start to match the emotional signature of your future, and your subconscious accepts it as the new normal. Then, life around you begins to shift in ways that feel effortless, because energy is simply following your internal command. But the field of infinite intelligence has a much broader perspective.